Hello everyone and welcome to week 31 of the Gran Turismo weekly race guide, where we look at the daily races for the week. Yeah, I'm sure you didn't need that intro, but even so, we've got quite a good week this week. Racy is questionable, but the other two, I think are tip-top, to be honest. Now this race, race A, let's have a look at the race details first of all. We're racing 4 laps at Dragontrail Gardens. It's a grid start and we're on sports medium tyres. Interestingly, I believe this is a brand new combo in terms of the cars. Don't quote me on that, but I've not seen it before, if I'm honest. And we have the Nissan 180 SX and the Nissan Silvia K. So we've got 2 cars here, which are very close, by the way. Obviously known for their drifting, but we're not drifting here. And at Gardens. And you can have some quite good racing. The car is fairly stable in the grand scheme of it until you get to lower gears. So it is pretty good, to be honest. Let's jump to the race then. I'll talk you through a little bit about the race this week and also a lap guide as well. And we do have some fantastic racing. Let's go! Here we are then at the start. Flash of lights. Let's have a look at the grid then. Mixture of all sorts in there. Mainly the Silvia Ks. There's a couple of 180 SXs in there. But Silvia K seems to be the best car. So I went with that car as well. It seems very good to drive, to be honest with you. But at the start, I did mention this just before. Traction control on 1. Now, I actually changed gear with traction control on 1 here just to avoid topping out. And then as we shifted there, just as we shifted, we knocked it to 0 just after. But off we go. And you can see it's been an alright start, to be fair. Roger and Bree, we've got Key in here as well. You can check out their channels. Obviously, Bree's on Twitch, as you can see, and Key's on YouTube. As you can see, they've both got the names right there of where all their content is. But through here, you can see it's getting a little bit contacty up ahead. It will be like this on lap 1 in nearly every single race you do, because it's just the way it is. And you can see a little bit of contact there as well. So I'm just backing out of this, just trying to avoid getting in the action. I just want to do some form of cutback if I can on a few people. A gap opens up there, and I just hit the white car, and that pushes Key over a little bit as well. I'm trying to give space now at this point, just to make room for everybody. And I can see what's going to happen here. Surely you can see this as well. There's a lot of cars going into this hairpin. So yeah, I'm backing out of this fairly early, and Key gets hit from behind there. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go in. I was like, whoa, I've got to avoid the French driver that went flying through. And then we get, I don't know, is that 5 positions in one corner or 6? Hey, we'll take it. It's in the stream title? Video title anyway. Well, however many it was, that was a pretty good move. Anticipated and took full advantage of. Happy days. Through we go. Ooh, a little bit of contact further back. I think that involves the French driver, to be honest with you again. Not sure what's going on. Up ahead, we've got a little bit of contact there between the Spanish driver and the Finnish driver as we fast forward a little bit further on here. So coming into this sharp left-hander, double apex. So you really want to hit the first part. We don't really do that. And then you want to hit the second part as the Spaniard's on the inside. A little bit of contact there. So we go, thank you very much. We'll steal that P4. Happy days. Right. Now we've got to fight with this Spaniard here. And it's a pretty good fight. I don't know why I did that then, but there we go. Heading down towards turn 1 and on the outside. Not going to really work out here on the outside. I know I'm spoiling it, but it's a long left-hander, so I wouldn't try it if I was you. More than likely you'll get pushed out wide if somebody goes deep as well. Back out of that. Survive another day. Maybe if it's the last lap, go for it. So we advance a bit further on towards the hairpin. They go a little bit deep. So you can see they get a little bit of oversteer there. You really have to control the car in that lower RPM. I'm assuming they went to first gear. I stay in second for stability reasons. But look at this for some good racing here. Just leaves me enough of a gap here. I'll have to let off to make sure I don't understeer into them. But they're going to keep that position for now. Brilliant racing. I had to sort of back out that turn, and that shifts the weight. So it wasn't their fault in the slightest there that I ran the way I did. It was just my own fault. Driver skill, not there anymore, apparently. Let's advance a bit further on then. We're going to go into the battle and a lap guide as well. Heading towards turn 1. End of the pit line there on the left-hand side. As you get to that point, you can see I'm just braking now. Is when you're going to start braking. Get as close to that as you can in terms of being on the edge of your screen. Now, as you come into here, minimum 90. Maintain 90 miles an hour. Go faster if you can as we continue on towards the left-hander here. Orange barrier on the right-hand side. Nice and easy. I'm braking a little bit too early. You will see I'm braking early in a second when we aim for the apex and cross it rather than touch it. So there you go, look at that. So you can see we were early on the brakes. That orange marker there. Now through the chicane, you want to straddle the sausages. So what do I mean by straddle? I mean make sure the sausage is in the middle of the car. Do not have it where the wheels are. Middle of the car, safe and sound, and through you will go. As you can see, we're up on the fastest lap here at the moment. So towards the hairpin then, this is an early brake marker. So I've marked the 150 and the tree. Basically, it's as the tree leaves the screen is when you really want to brake. It's just after the 150 meter board, as you will see in a second. So now you start braking, just as it disappears off the screen. And second gear, as I say, you want to keep it tight as well. Avoid running wide. You see how much time the Spaniard loses there from running wide. It's just covering more track that you don't need to cover. And we're once again side by side. Some good racing here. This time we're on the inside and we've carried much more momentum, so we do get that position. And as you head into this right-hander here, the dried grass there on the left-hand side, really good marker. This is more of a lift than anything. You might want to tiny tap of the brakes, but more of a lift. Let the car roll through the corner. And then as you get to this tree here, as it leaves the screen, that's when you want to turn left. And again, very minimal braking inputs. You want to maintain sort of like a weight stability in the car. So no huge weight movements. It's just the steering happening in the car, and it will remain stable for you. If you're braking hard, you're going to have issues. Now, into this corner, there's a huge black mark there on the pink area of the curb. You're braking just at the start of that, and you want to clip every single curb here. Now, I don't do it on this particular lap, but I get close. If you do clip them, it'll pull you around a tiny bit more, and happy days. You can see how the Spaniard's done that very well there behind me as we continue on through. And we're going to head up towards the double apex hairpin at the end of the circuit. Now, for this, you can see, I don't know what happened there with their gearing, but for this, you're going to look on the right-hand side and look for that orange barrier there. Now, obviously, if you've had slipstream the entire straight, you're going to have to take that into consideration. However, I'm using that as a marker here and I always use it as a marker as well. And then as we come into here, I want to stay in third gear. And I do that really to maintain the stability of the car. And I know there's going to be a delay in the gear shift as well. But as we leave here, I'm still in that third position. And that is the lap guide as well as Gardens. I'd say we had a pretty good race with that Spaniard. We are going to advance towards the end now, where we do catch only up to the Spaniard up ahead, but not quite getting there. But a P3, which actually turns into a P2 because that Spaniard disconnects, I think. We'll take it. P2 on our first race. Happy days. But I think this is a good race. I think you can have some good racing here. It's a thumbs up from me. Race B. This is where we get epic. Why is it epic? Wait, that's a croissant! Combo B, or layout B. Not combo B. Layout B. And we're in group 3 cars. This is an epic combination. Trust me. The problem is the amount of laps. Let's have a look at the race details then. We're racing only 3 laps here. It should be 4, but it's 3 for now. It's a rolling start, and we're on the racing medium tyre. Obviously, you're looking for the faster cars here. Lots of straights, very few sharp corners. Anything with decent downforce and good top speed is going to be really good here. But I took the Supra because that was on the leaderboard, and we have a nice little delivery here that was supplied last week. And yes, we took the Supra, and we're going to have a fantastic race from the back. We didn't qualify for this race B because I knew it would be epic. And oh my word, is it epic. You're about to see a large portion of an insane race. Let's go! Let's have a look at what has been picked then. GTR was at the top of the board, but I don't really like racing the GTR. But 1, 2, 3, we've got a Lamborghini in there. That is a good choice. We've got Key in the Ford, we've got Shelty in the Pug, we've got Steelman in the Aston Martin, and we can see an AMG up ahead there in Epic Toby. We've got an FT1 behind us in Lulio. Sorry if I said that completely wrong, but we're going to get ready. So as you can see, most of the cars will start in the straight, so nothing to really worry about here. It's a very open corner as well, so shouldn't have to worry about that start really. Right, here we go then. We're going to head towards turn 1. And we're not going into a lap guide. We normally do, but because this race is a bit crazy, and you've probably seen a little bit in that TV footage beforehand, we'll do the lap guide on lap 2, I think we'll do it on, because it opens up a little bit and you get to see it a little bit better. So this race is a little bit crazy in a good way. You know, it's epic at the end of the day. And I love epic combos like this, where it doesn't matter where you are really in terms of position, you can have a good race. As we see a yellow flag, who's fled it, who's gone to the realm? It looks like it's Kevin. That's the Lamborghini. So while Lamborghini probably a good choice, it's also a dangerous choice there. So a little bit of contact there between the Hungarian and Epic Toby there, the German. And through here we go. Very dangerous corner this. Easy to get wrong. Easy to end up in the barrier there. See Steelman gets all sorts of sideways in that Aston Martin V12 Vantage. So you can see a little bit of slipstream happening there between Epic Toby and the GTR, trying to get past the Aston as quick as possible. Aston goes for the later braking. I'm thinking I want to stay on the inside here, try and maintain some form of momentum. Just avoid the Aston there with a little bit of drift though. In towards the right-hander though. I know the Aston's got the inside, so I'd sort of back out this early. I want to come back here. The minute I start seeing that blue and white barrier is when I want to accelerate. And through we go. Happy days up into that P12 position. But you can see we're only 6 seconds off the lead here, 6.3 seconds. You can see there's lots of battling up ahead, so plenty of racing to go. Trust me. As you see the GTR defending from that Mercedes. Mercedes down the inside then. Are they going to get it stopped? GTR looking around the outside. And it is possible here to do that. I mean, look at the width of the track. It's massive. GTR does not get it done. Mercedes-AMG GT does. So this bit is another good part of the circuit because it really tests driver skill. This corner here in particular. Because you have to have faith in the car. It's all about maintaining weight stability this week, I would say. As we look down the inside of the GTR then, in towards the final corner. We brake late. We stop it beautifully. And through we go there, up into P11. Happy days. Right. Time for a lap guide. While we have the opportunity to do a lap guide there. Sorry if that looked like a double move. It wasn't meant to be. I was following the slipstream. But even so, we're going to head towards turn 1. You're going to look for that 100-meter board there. You're going to brake just after the 100-meter board. Depending on your car, depending on the gear, of course. You do want to slightly clip the dark green stuff on the inside. That would be the perfect line. We don't quite get it on that dark green stuff. If you just slightly get on it, not too far over, just slightly, it is the best line there. So through we go. And we're going to head towards turn 2 then. And once again, you're going to look for that 100-meter board. Nice and easy. Now, with this corner, you want to be on the inside as much as possible. You can see the corner is slightly off camber. So the wider you go, the worse the corner is. So if you get on the inside, it's far better. Now, we don't quite hit the curb there, which is significant. But if we went even wider, it'd been even worse. So just be careful of that. Heading down the hill, you want to take a wide line for this complex of corners. And you sort of let off here at this point. Just let off, let off, let off, let off. As you go straight is when you want to start braking. You can see we're just about to go straight here and then start turning left. So we initialize that braking, slow the car down a little bit. I've dropped a gear as well at this point. And you want to keep trail braking. And then just before this moment here is when you slam on the anchors. Because at this point, you should be as far left as possible and preparing for this right-hander. For this right-hander, you want to balance the car throttle. You notice I'm trying to balance the car throttle through there. You notice how stable it is. Because all the weight goes over the rear wheels, as the weight transitions over the bump, or the crest of the hill, sorry, that's where the stability is. Because we've accelerated a little bit, more weight over the rear, keeps the rear down. Happy days. This brake marker is the give way sign. Just after it, actually, I'm braking a bit early here because I'm right behind Epic Toby, who you can see is epic, and it's an epic combo. So it's a good little combo there we have of epic. But through there we go. You're going to have to be careful of that barrier on the right-hand side as well. Now, this right-hander, very difficult to actually get right. I don't really get it right once during this race. But as you get to that dark patch there on the right-hand side, as you're on the left, that's when you want to start braking. And then you sort of want to either trail brake or roll the car through this combo. And then as you start to see the blue and white barrier, as it comes into sight, not through the fence, that's when you accelerate. The blue and white barrier is critical there for your acceleration point. So you'll get used to that as you go through the week. You can see at the moment we don't have a speed advantage over the AMG. We will do as we get towards the top end here. AMG starts to struggle, and this is where the Supra doesn't. And we're going to look on the inside. Now, as we head towards this braking zone, the 150-meter board just after it is when you want to brake, okay? Just after the 150-meter board, we're going to be braking just on it because we're on the inside here. We have to take a much tighter line as we see. Oh, max range has gone off there. That's unfortunate. So we're going to technically gain a position, but not over Epic Toby. You can see, once again, we've still got lines of cars here, so good racing. So through here, it's pretty much flat. Then you have this right, and then you want to straighten up at the end of that curve and make sure you go left there. Very difficult corner. You only want to turn once. If you turn twice, you're going to go off. Turn once. And once you're ready to turn left, that's what you do. Last corner, nice and easy. The 100-meter board. Very easy to do here. Just after that, brake. And we're going to be side by side here. So we've got the Spaniard and Sheltie up ahead. So Pug and GTR, and then we've got the AMG GT and the Supra. So 4 different cars currently racing here. So, you know, there is a good selection of cars that you can pick from this week. As I wish this was 4 laps. I would have preferred race A being 3 and this being 4, to be honest. But even so, down the inside we go. And that's a little bit too much of the dark green. So in previous lap, wasn't enough. That's a little bit too much, but we were on the inside of the AMG GT. Just give Epic Toby a bit more room there because we weren't given enough. Through the right we go, and we're looking around the outside here. Very dangerous to try around the outside here because of the way the corner works. You see, it's off camber. It pushes the cars wide, but Epic Toby, beautiful racing, gave me enough room there, and we do take advantage of that, and we do get the position up into the reverse curse position, P9. So down here again, we're just lifting a little bit. We do dab the brakes a little bit, just closing too much on Shelty, trying to get as far left as possible. I have to leave a little bit of a gap there from that GTR. I got a little bit scared, but even so, make it through. And once again, notice how a stable car is so much faster through there. Balancing the throttle, that's critical for that corner. We're alongside Shelty now in that pug, so we're going to try and brake just after that giveaway sign. Oh, no, we braked just before it, actually. And, ooh, yes, we stop it. Phew, that was close. Obviously, we couldn't take the most opportune line there, just due to Shelty being on the inside. So we'll look on the Spaniard here. That slipstream's helped us out massively. Not close enough, really, to make a move. So we take a tight line, and we're going to be compromised on the exit here. So we're going to continue on. And I get to show off this left-hander then, thankfully. Again, doing it properly. So through here. So as you get to the end of the curb on the right, you want to turn left then. Notice how I take a lot of the curb there. And notice how the GTR didn't. And look how much they struggled. Because I'm taking one turn and taking it smooth and on the inside, it's just so much faster. So we're going to try around the outside here on the last corner. Very dangerous to do because you could end up in the barrier. It's very close. But the Spaniard gives me just enough room there. And look at this, bro. I didn't know who was going to win this. Look at that. Look how close it is on that radar. I think I've just got it by a nose there. And we do indeed. Look at that. 14 thousandths. But a beautiful race. A beautiful combo. Thank you so much, Gran Turismo, for putting in an epic combo. But please make it longer next time. Let's head to race C. Welcome to Suzuka then for race C. And as you can see, it's group 4 cars as well. And you're probably going, Tidge, why would this be questionable? Well, let's have a look at the race details to find out. We're racing 9 laps here at Suzuka. It's a rolling start, which is a little bit questionable anyway. We'll get to that in just a second. We're on the racing medium tyres only, which means it's a no-stop race. And that's the questionable part, because I think it needed some strategy here. Fuel usage ×2 and tyre wear ×8. Now you can see I'm in the Ferrari. The Ferrari is not the best car here. In fact, on time trial, the E10's is the best, but I wouldn't use that in the race. You want something very good on tyres, which is the Megane Trophy, the Toyota GT86, anything which is very light. A light car is the best car in terms of tyres. Now, I chose a Ferrari, in fact, just so I could overtake cars. And trust me, you can overtake cars in the Ferrari. It is an alright car, to be honest, for this race. Let's have a look at the race then. Let's find out exactly what happened in both races, because you don't see one, you see two. Here we are then at the start of race number 1. And I didn't set a time, as I don't normally set a time. And I'm in P20. Well, Muggins here. Forgot one little bad thing about this. Yes, we're at Tidgney 2 once again. It's still here, the Suzuka bug. I've just reported it to PD once again, so I really do hope it gets fixed. Oh my word, it's been in so long. It's the easiest fix in the world. Just change the rolling start. Anyway, it's in like the distance. If you change it by 2 meters, which is possible in the secret settings, 2 meters for all cars, that's 40 meters. Happy days, job done. Right, even so, we went and did a lap quickly, and we start P5 now in the Ferrari. So, up ahead, you've got Megane, Porsche, and then Ferrari. Believe it or not, the Ferrari in the lead. And we do have a fantastic race here as well. Just a bit of an FYI. So, we're going to head towards turn 1, and we're going to go straight into a lap guide as well. Warming your tyres up. Remember, folks, tyre wear means tyre temp. So, head towards turn 1, just weaving a little bit here. And as you head towards turn 1, on a fast lap, warm tyres, you're looking to get as close as you can to that pit lane exit line there. The end of it. Get as close as you can in terms of the braking. Trail brake through this corner. Obviously, the car is going to be very unstable on lap 1. As you go through laps, it should get a little bit more stable before tyre wear comes into play and it becomes a little bit more unstable again. So through the S's here at Suzuka, it's just about balancing the car. So generally speaking, you don't really want to touch the brakes. Just letting off that throttle, going back on throttle, letting off again. What it should do then is keep the car fairly balanced because it's just one input which is controlling the weight of the car, which is what you're doing. So we changed to 4th gear there in the Ferrari. Just be careful of understeering there out into the dirt. So heading towards Tidgney 1 then. On the left-hand side, you have that 50-meter board. Now I'm braking early here because it's lap 1, minute 1. But obviously, you try and get as close to that as possible. Let the car roll through Tidgney 1 then at that point. Let the car stay balanced. Make sure you stay stable. And as you hit Tidgney 2, you want to get as close to the end of that curb as physically possible, okay? When you get really close, you're going to start worrying about dipping your left rear tyre into that grass. Just be careful of that. But get as close as you can to the end of that curb. And that will, as you progress through the week, that's where you get more and more aggressive and you should get more and more time. So as we head towards the hairpin, there's a photographer there. We like using photographers. There's one there. Use that as your brake marker. I'm braking a bit early here because I'm right behind the Spaniard and I don't want to punt them to Narnia. As you can see here, I'm just taking avoiding action there as well. as we have a bit of a closing effect there in the braking zone. But that photographer, really good brake marker here in Group 4. So through the hairpin, just be careful of oversteer as well, and there will be some dives made there, so just be careful, make sure you're monitoring your rear view. And we're going to look for the inside, so this is why I wanted the Ferrari over the Megane. But in terms of spoon, there's a piece of tarmac there that I've highlighted. Use that as your brake marker. And just on this, I'll talk about the Ferrari in just a second actually, because as we come into here, it's normally third gear, you clip that curb and you normally go out towards there, and as you get as close as you can to that curb, that's where you start turning and braking just before the end of it. It's just normally a dab of the brakes, to be honest. It depends how much speed you carry, and depending on the car as well. Let the car rotate a little bit and roll through the corner, and then when you're happy, accelerate through there. So you saw there the reason why I chose the Ferrari, okay? It was clean past the Megane Trophy, even though it was in slipstream. And that's the critical thing here. If you want to make moves, you can't be in a Megane Trophy. That's why I chose the Ferrari. But if you want to be in Megane Trophy in the lead, that's what you have to do. You have to use that car. So, 50-meter board. You want to generally just let off for 130R. You might want to dab the brakes a little bit, depending on the car. But I just let off here, and you can see I nearly understeered off there. I didn't carry as much momentum, but I didn't cut it enough either. The Casio triangle then, the chicane, is where that yellow line starts there for that weird pit lane entry. I don't know what it actually is, but as the yellow line starts is what I use as a brake marker. So you don't want to cut too much of the first corner, but you want to cut a lot of the second one there. You see that there, and then happy days, job done. So yes, I chose the Ferrari because I want to overtake. In a straight line, I can overtake cars, and it should be fairly okay on tyres. We'll find out at the end how good it is on tyres. Because obviously the Megane Trophy, very slow in a straight line, but it's very good at its tyres, so it can manage them all the way to the end very nice and easy. So in towards the braking zone we go, and I just get a little bit wrong there. Well, not wrong, but I would have hit the finish driver. Right, straight line the braking. That's what you do to avoid hitting somebody. Straight line the braking, go towards the right. Yes, you're going to head off the track, but you don't destroy somebody else's race because it's your mistake. So here, 130R, I highly recommend you don't go side by side through here. So I let off there on purpose because I didn't want to cause carnage, and you know, we're in the fight for the lead here at the moment, and it's always nice to be in a fight for the lead. So through we go. We've got, what's this? 3 different cars fighting for that lead position. 2 Ferraris, a Megane Trophy, and a Porsche Cayman. Let's see what we can do. Now you'll have noticed my brake balance is going further and further and further back. That's because I'm unsure of what it should be at the time. I end up on +3, so I do highly recommend +2 or +3 for the Ferrari. If you're wondering about brake balances for all of the cars that we've used today in the weekly race guide, you can check out the description. I did get a request about a graphic for that. I still haven't done that yet, but it's on my list of things to do. So there will be a graphic shortly for brake balance. Through the S's we go then, and it's just line astern. So let's advance a bit further on. And this is where I do make a mistake. So every time I've just got a slightly wrong beam behind them because they brake a bit earlier than expected. I just tap them there, but they still make the corner. So, you know, they're being very cautious with their braking because of cars ahead, and I'm not being more cautious than that. You see I whacked my hazards on there just to apologise. It's just a slight tap, but we're back racing now. I lost more than the finish driver did, so I can actually go for moves if I want to, and that's what I'm going to look at here. So we did this last time on the Megane Trophy, down the inside, having a little nosy, but not really there. It was a very cheeky move to attempt, to be honest with you, bearing in mind I wasn't alongside, so we do back out of that. I don't want to really cause any grief there, but leaving that corner, that should leave the Megane Trophy in a bit of a weak spot, which is actually what we want here. The less slipstream it has, the even more of a speed difference we have with the car. So we're looking here, and then we're like, no, let's not do that through 130R. Again, side by side through there, not very nice. They get it slightly wrong, and so do the leaders up ahead. So I go yoink down the inside here, in towards the braking zone then. And I know these guys are going to have dirty tyres, so I release the brake a little bit here. And the Porsche driver, JS23X, shout out to you because you were super duper aware there. I was going for a very, very, very cheeky move there. And the fact that I knew you had to brake early from the dirty tyres, so I released the brakes to try and get on your inside. Very cheeky move by me. I did make the apex, so I would have said that was clean all the same. But you were very aware, so a big shout out to you as well. Shout out to the finish driver for some clean racing as well, because they chose their line and I went on the sneaky inside. The Porsche driver just gets it wrong through Tidgney 1 there. They were basically just travelling at that point. They couldn't do anything. They clipped the grass, went for the spin down the inside of Tidgney 2. Now, we've caught up to the other Ferrari driver now. So, at this moment in the race, the Ferrari is still fine in terms of tyre wear. So, I still think it's the better car at this moment in time. So, we're going to have a really good race with this Italian. I want to give a shout out to you, to Veves. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong, because this is awesome. Honestly, sit back and relax this. This is some awesome driving. So, obviously, they're on the inside for spoon. You don't really want to be on the outside for spoon. I did go for a cutback there, but they read that beautifully. as we go into the second part of Spoon then. And then down here we go. So obviously 130R, we're very close here at this moment in time. So I want to try and force the issue now. I'm going to be racing quite aggressive here. So they're going to have to do some amazing defending. And here we go then. So slight tap there. Maybe just didn't realize. But I would never go side by side here. So I'll just back out of it. I'm hoping that it causes a mistake. It doesn't. Beautifully held there. Beautiful defensive driving. The Italian keeps that position for now as we head towards the chicken. And through we go. Now, I did start to notice throughout this attacking of driving that potentially my front tyres were a little bit better here. So the Ferrari driver chose to go right. That was never closing gap, which is why I didn't go down there, because that was going to close irrespective. So we're going to try around the outside at turn 1. Very hard to do. Now, in fact, what I'm actually planning on doing is the cutback. So hopefully they go deep and I can go on the inside. But again, look at this. With beautiful defending, they read it spot on. Such a good race this so far. It really is brilliant. So, once again, I'm stuck behind the Ferrari for now then. In towards the S's we go. And this is where I can start reading that the front tyres are not working as well on that Ferrari there of the Italian. Because every time I go for sort of different line, I can see I've got a lot more turning, a lot more bite on the front. And that's what I feel like. So I'm like, oh, excellent. I can get a good run here. So through this left-hander we go. And now I'm going to go for a really cheeky look on the inside of Tidgney 1. And I just get my nose in just there. So they go defensive then for Tidgney 1. Again, a corner. I would not go side by side on, so I'll back out of this completely. Effectively, I'm trying to force the issue here, but the Italian is just not braking. It's superb driving through here by Silvia. As again, they choose their line already here for defense. There, they stay to the left. I'm like, okay, round the outside at the hairpin. It is a possible move. Very hard to pull off. You've really got to carry the speed on the exit. Unfortunately, they give me enough space as well. Beautiful driving again. And we're on the inside now. Throughout this fast right, I'm thinking, excellent. Finally, job done. Superb, superb racing here with the Italian. Oh, I enjoyed this so much as we continue towards Spoon. But it's not over yet. It is not over. So in towards Spoon, because of course we've got the fast bit towards the 130R. Slipstream is going to come into play, of course, as we come through here. We just get the line slightly wrong. So compromised exit here as we continue on now towards 130R. So at this moment, I was like, do I just go towards the right and hope that they don't go for the move, or do I stay left? So I decided to stay left in terms of defensive driving. Now, one thing I did not spot was some flashy lights shortly. There we go, flashy lights. Basically telling me to come over. But, unfortunately, I just get the 130R slightly wrong and just end up on the slippy stuff. So I go wide here. I bring it back on fairly okay, to be honest. But the Italian retakes that lead. Superb that he forced me into an error there. Really good stuff. I didn't spot the headlights at the time. I spotted the headlights while editing this. We've got a lot to do here. We've got to stay ahead of that Megane Trophy as well, because as the race goes on, that Megane Trophy is going to get extremely strong. So here we go again. Next lap, heading towards 130R. We've caught back up into the slipstream here as well as we head there now. And what's going to happen here? So they just get slightly wrong in towards the entry, and they just carry a tiny bit too much speed. So they just did the exact same as us, but in towards the braking zone we go. They brake a little bit too late. The minute I saw them brake at the same point I did, I knew I had this done. The through here we go. So close on the rejoin. So close. Maybe traveling at that point that he couldn't do anything else. But oh my word. What a race for this. A huge shout out to you, mate. It was awesome. I love that race. Anyway, we're going to have a look a little bit on the minimap here, because Key's gone into P2, but unfortunately for Key, he's made the curb mistake there and goes for a little bit of a pirouette, a little bit of a ballet there, but manages to go straight again. So unfortunately for Key, Key gained a second on that last lap. The Megane Trophy so strong on the last couple of laps, really, in terms of its tyre wear versus the Ferrari, which you can see has no tyres left. But what a race. Honestly, I do hope you enjoyed that. If you did enjoy it, please give it a like. And if you want to stay in touch with the content, subscribe as always. And so apologies as well in terms of being early this week, but I've got something on this evening, so I couldn't do it any other way. My logo's there now if you want to subscribe, and there's 2 videos there if you want to check any of them out. But that's going to be it for me now, folks. As I said, I do hope you enjoyed this. It was superb racing, but I will see you in another video or live stream very soon.